From the late 80s through the 90s and into the 2000s, LEGO suffered from low sales, brought on by a lack of focus, licenses becoming irrelevant, and numerous failed themes that ended up draining the company of valuable resources. After LEGO released its Technic spin-off Bionicle in 2001, its relieving success showed the company that they could build their own stories and worlds to give more background to a theme, much like a pre-written license would. LEGO was now desperate to have a repeat hit, and took nearly a decade of production to craft a symbiotic relationship between both story and product, TV show and LEGO sets, the visual Ninjago and the tangible Ninjago. So I guess I have to kinda split this video across two focuses, the visual media and the products, because arguably, one cannot exist without the other. I thought about splitting this into two separate videos, but I realized that if it were any other toy I was talking about that happened to have a show or movie that went along with it or was based on it, I would talk about it in the same video. I would rather have every relevant piece of information in one big video than have to dissect it between two if I can help it. Kinda like the Monster High video where I talked about mainly the toys in one video, and I'm gonna do a separate video on the movies because it would have just been a lot to brief in one video. But for the sake of fluidity for this one, I will kind of bounce back and forth between the show and the actual LEGO. If by any chance you aren't familiar with how LEGO breaks up their products, I will very briefly explain it because it is somewhat relevant to some of the discussions we'll have as we go. Any given box of LEGO that comes with instructions on a specific thing to build is called a set. Sets are usually builds of some kind of vehicle or building. There are different types, but these two are the most common. A theme is a grouping of sets that have one unified aesthetic or inspiration. For example, the LEGO City theme is a less abstract one, and is comprised of sets that build something found in a city. In 1998, LEGO launched a ninja theme, inspired by their castle theme. Sets in this theme included multiple buildings, weapons, and settings in the style of those found in feudal Japan, and came with robed ninja minifigures, which are little LEGO people. This theme was eventually discontinued in 2000, so by the time LEGO went looking for a story-driven theme to focus on, they used the short-lived theme for inspiration. Since Ninjago sat in development for literally a decade, there were a whole bunch of concepts for both the show and the sets that didn't end up making it to the finish line. Okay, well, most of those 10 years were dedicated to finding out what kind of story was worth LEGO's time and money. The first conceptual drawings were brought to fruition in 2009 by a main creator of the series, Tommy Andresen. These works would show off 5 main ninjas, each with their own colored outfits and corresponding elemental powers. His sketch was initially just of the ninja, but later on he would send it off to somebody else who would apply the color, and otherwise refine his sketch. Andresen would also jot down the word Ninjago, which would later evolve into the word Spinjitzu, a portmanteau of the words spin and ninjutsu. This abstract concept of a word would later inspire the primary sales point for the toy line, little Beyblade-esque spinners that you would stand minifigures of the characters on and battle with. The overall theming of the property would be fantastical, rooting itself in its feudal Japan inspiration, but would later down the line both evolve to include a bigger number of geographical cultural influences and begin to work in more advanced sci-fi-like technology. For the time being in development, writers would focus on relatively basic plots, settings, and enemies that may be found in a fantasy set in Japan. As I mentioned before, the series would feature 5 main characters, but this would later expand to 6 for a reason I'll explain briefly when it's relevant. The guy who would become the main character in the show's pilots and a good portion of the first few seasons, Kai would be the ninja of fire. He was originally named Ash, then Dante, before landing on Kai. You know, Ash is like fire and Dante like Dante's Inferno, fire jokes. Most, if not all, of the show's characters have scrapped names that made it to varying stages of development. Nia, Kai's sister, was at certain points named both Aya and Aura. She basically served as a plot device for the first seasons as a motivation for Kai and later a love interest for other characters. She is the 6th main character, as I had mentioned before, added in because the screenwriters, brothers Dan and Kevin Hageman, wanted to have a point of relation for young girls who liked the series, making it more inclusive. Cole, formerly Blake, the ninja of Earth, took up the more leadery role and acted as the rock, no pun intended, for the other 3 main ninja. Jay, the ninja of lightning, had many conceptual names, including Ren, Po, and Rain. Jay is your typical comic relief character, at least at most points. Other than that, he's clever when the situation calls for it and is even quite the inventor. The last of the 4 main ninja, the Ice Ninja Zane, had conceptual names as Boone, Whitman, and Win. He's both smart and strange, with the other 3 making fun of him for being a little odd, at least in the first few seasons. The writers wanted Ninjago to have the air of a dramatic adventure like Star Wars, with a big and powerful threat to work towards putting a stop to. They intended for the story to be something intelligent and well written for kids to watch, compared to kids' shows at the time that had little to no knowledgeable reward for watching. The driving story to pull the show along involved the evil Lord Demic, later renamed to Lord Garmadon, and his army of skeletons aiming to hunt down the Golden Weapons, a set of weapons that, when combined, could be a very destructive force in the wrong hands, the four hands of Lord Garmadon. 4 episodes of the series, produced by Willfilm Animation, or Willfilm APS as it's sometimes referred to, would follow this plot closely, having the ninja attempt to locate and protect the golden weapons. These being the Sword of Fire, Nunchucks of Lightning, Shurikens of Ice, and Scythe of Quakes. These 4 episodes would air on January 14th, 2011, and finally set the series into motion. An official first season of what would be called Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu would air December 2nd of that same year, and finally introduce that last main character. The first season's villain, if you can even call him that, is Lloyd Garmadon, the young, very young son of Lord Garmadon. Lloyd, get it? With a desire to emanate his father, Lloyd gets up to lots of suspicious mischief, causing the ninja to have to investigate. Unimpressed with petty theft and being a general nuisance, he releases a long-imprisoned tribe of an anthropomorphic snake race called the Serpentine. Now, these guys act as our primary villains with a goal of their own that I won't spoil. Led by their mentor, Sensei Wu, the ninja learn of their release and set out to stop both them and Lloyd, all while discovering their higher power and striving to become the prophetic Green Ninja, a very powerful and skilled ninja destined to be the protector of all of Ninjago. This is the absolute most basic information you need to know before we switch over to talking about the actual LEGO real quick. Things get really messy and sort of confusing with the series from here on out, but don't worry, we're not there yet, and I'll hold your hand and walk through it with you. Unless you don't want to hold hands, that's fine too. Again, we're going to pivot to the toys here for a little bit. With the release of both the pilot episodes and Season 1 in 2011, LEGO also released multiple sets and spinners that were designed related to what would be worked into the show. Like I mentioned before, spinners were sort of these little Beyblade things you would put together yourself, with a few LEGO pieces to help hold the minifigure in place. Each spinner would come with a specific character from the show, a ninja or an enemy character, and would be colored and decorated to match that character. The spinners would also come with specific physical attachments to help them perform, such as weapons to knock other spinners off balance, and rounded plates to let the spinner spin longer. Other additional parts to the spinner sets included character cards, which would show off a given character's statistics, and battle cards, a card you can play to give yourself an advantage or give your opponent a disadvantage. So there was a trading card game element to it. Since the spinners were intended to be a main standpoint for the show, replicating how the ninja would use spinjitzu in the actual episodes, they released quite a few of these sets, if you can call them that. You could get spinners for Kai, Cole, Zane, Nia, and Sensei Wu, variants of the ninja in different outfits in the form of Cole DX, Zane DX, Kai DX, and Training J, as well as the enemy characters Chop Off, Bonsai, Crazy, Knuckle, Cruncha, Whiplash, and Garbodon himself. Scary stuff. Just because a lot of focus was put on the spinners doesn't mean that LEGO didn't also sell actual playsets for the series. Based on the pilot episodes, 15 playsets were released in 2011. Ninja Ambush, Skull Motorbike, Ice Dragon Attack, Turbo Shredder, Spinjitzu Dojo, Garmadon's Dark Fortress, Ninja Training Outpost, Knuckles ATV, Skeleton Bowling, Ninjago Battle Arena, Sculpt Truck, Fire Temple, Blacksmith Shop, Earth Dragon Defense, Lightning Dragon Battle, and Mountain Shrine. To be clear, I'm not going to go through both the spinners and sets for every season, or I would actually go insane. I'm just doing it for the pilots and the first season because they're honestly iconic, and they're the ones that most people my age are familiar with. The sets and spinners based on the actual first season were released in 2012. Spinners included Kai ZX, Kendo Zane, Samurai X, NRG J, NRG Cole, Lloyd ZX, and NRG Zane. There were also booster packs that came with just a character, battle cards, and extra pieces, just not the actual spinner. Booster packs you could get were Kendo Cole, Lloyd Garmadon, JZX, and Zane ZX. Enemy spinners included Lasha, Snappa, Fang Sui, I think I'm saying that right, I'm not sure, Spitta, Fangdom, and Slithra, as well as Mesmo, Baitar, and Lizaru as booster packs. Sets that LEGO put out for the first season were Venomari Shrine, Kai's Blade Cycle, Jay's Stormfighter, Rattlecopter, Cole's Tread Assault, Fangpyre Truck Ambush, Destiny's Bounty, Fangpyre Mech, Spinner Battle Arena, Fangpyre Wrecking Ball, Lasha's Bite Cycle, Samurai Mech, Ultrasonic Raider, and Epic Dragon Battle. The sets would commonly be based on events, settings, or vehicles seen in the show. Ninjago almost instantly became a sensation, with Cartoon Network announcing that it was the #1 show for boys in the 6 to 14 age range, with the second season's premiere amassing 2.3 million viewers when it eventually came along. LEGO itself made bank off of it, with Ninjago skyrocketing to hit the highest single-year sales point out of any of LEGO's other original themes, even outperforming Bionicle. So clearly, Ninjago did what it set out to do, even more so than what was expected. It was no question that the show would get another season, as well as more products sold in stores. I'm kinda gonna just try to lightning round myself into my next point because I want to touch on every season, but I don't want to be here forever. So I'll just briefly describe each season up until a certain point, and talk about strictly the sets, unless stated otherwise. Is that cool with everybody? Awesome. The second season pretty much picks up where the first one leaves off, nothing much new here that I can really explain without spoiling anything. Season 2 produced 6 sets. Kai's Fire Mech, Warrior Bike, Cole's Earth Driller, the Golden Dragon, Garmatron, and the Temple of Light. LEGO had only planned for Ninjago to be a viable product for about 3 years, so after season 2, the show was briefly declared to be over, before overwhelming fan support prompted the company to continue the show. Since quite a few important plot points had been wrapped up by then, at least for the time being, season 3 had to rely on generally new themes. Only thing I can really tell you is that this season's primary enemy is robots, and works in some technology that I mentioned a little earlier. Even as far back as doing the product testing among kids for Ninjago, robots were considered as a possible antagonist, so it made sense that this was the next move by most means. This season put out 9 sets between 2013 and 2014. Hover Hunter, Kai Fighter, Overborg Attack, Thunder Raider, Ninja Copter? That can't be real. The other sets are Ninjoid Mech Dragon, Destructoid, X1 Ninja Charger, and Battle for Ninjago City. Season 4 I have never actually seen, or I did but completely blacked it out. This one I can explain a little more. The ninja all take part in a tournament of sorts that pits them against other fighters with elemental powers akin to their own. 11 sets for this season released in early 2015. We got the sets Anna-Kandrai Crusher, Kandrai Copter Attack, Cole's Boulder Blaster, Titanium Dragon, Enter the Serpent, Ninja DBX, Jungle Trap, Lava Falls, Jay's Electromech, Jungle Raider, and Dojo Showdown. Season 5 has the ninja face-off against ghosts, but it also introduces a new gimmick, Air Jitsu, which is basically just spin jitsu that makes you fly. This was even represented in the spinners, with special ones that had these blades on them that would actually let them take off from the pulley or charger or whatever it's called. This season got 10 sets. Chain Cycle Ambush, Jaywalker 1, City of Styx, Blaster Bike, Master Wu Dragon, Ronin REX, Attack of the Moro Dragon? That goes so hard! That's going on my wishlist. That's going in my Bricklink right now. The other 3 sets are Titan Mech Battle, Final Flight of Destiny's Bounty, and Temple of Air Jitsu. Season 6 basically doesn't matter at face value, but regardless, it follows the ninja's attempt at stopping an evil Jin from securing the ultimate power over Ninjago. 7 sets based on this season were released in 2016. Cole's Dragon, Ninja Bike Chase, Sky Shark, Jay's Elemental Dragon, Raid Zeppelin, Tiger Widow Island, and Misfortune's Keep. There is a little bit of a hiccup here in the middle of 2016 where Ninjago hits its 5th anniversary and has a special Day of the Departed that I can't say much about other than it's about dead villains trying to wreak havoc on the living. This special did get some sets, but some of them are based on the previous season 6. These 9 sets are Titanium Ninja Tumbler, Rock Rotor, Air Jitsu Battlegrounds, Cryptarium Prison Breakout, Salvage MEC, the Green Energy Dragon, the Lighthouse Siege, Ultra Stealth Raider, and Samurai X Cave Chaos. Season 7's main focus was a time travel plot, having the ninja fight against 2 time travelers and their snake army, the Vermilion. Sets for this season were the Vermilion Attack, Desert Lightning, Destiny's Shadow, Vermilion Invader, Samurai VXL, Dawn of Iron Doom, and Dragon's Forge. Season 7 was meant to be the natural end to Ninjago, and in the light of the success of the LEGO Movie and the LEGO Batman movie, Ninjago would be given a movie both as a celebration and a send-off for the theme. Releasing in September of 2017 after being moved from its 2016 release year, The movie focuses on Lloyd's relationship with his father, and both his and the other ninjas' journey in discovering their true powers. Why are the first 3 LEGO movies all about daddy issues? All 6 main characters get a redesign in this movie, as well as Garmadon and Wu in slightly less noticeable ways. Despite the characters pre-existing and already having voice actors, they would get new celebrity voice actors just for the movie. I love this movie. I don't care what anyone says. So there we go. Ninjago had finally run its course and was given a relatively proper ending. In another universe. Not this one, because even despite a second soft conclusion and the movie not doing astronomically well, the series would not remain at rest for long. I better talk about the movie sets because that's really what we're here for, isn't it? Despite Ninjago fans' general reception of the movie, the sets it produced are genuinely really cool. These include Spinjitzu Training, Ninjago City Chase, Master Falls, which I own, Manta Ray Bomber, which I also own, Flying Jelly Sub, Water Strider, Green Ninja Mech Dragon, Garma Mecha Man, Lightning Jet, Fire Mech, Ice Tank, Temple of the Ultimate Weapon, Destiny's Bounty, Ninjago City, Piranha Attack, Garmadon's Volcano Lair, Quake Mech, which is my prized possession, and Garmadon. I think the city docks are also released with these, I'm not sure. They also did a set of collector's minifigures for the movie that would come in blind bags. I probably easily spent $80 trying to get coal from one, probably more than that. 2018 would eventually bring a new season of the show. The impact of the movie was instantly felt, as the characters were all given redesigns to match those they had in the movie, and Lloyd would be given a new permanent voice actor to reflect the change in maturity in both the appearance and tone of voice that he had in the movie. Regardless of any initial reservations that might cause, Season 8 is quite possibly the most fantastic season in the series, after the first one in my opinion. Maybe if I'm not too lazy, I'll give my personal ranking at the end. The season concerns a group of street outlaws attempting to steal 3 ancient artifacts capable of giving their wearers extreme power. This season produced the sets Katana V2, Street Race of Snake Jaguar, SOG Headquarters, Ninja Nightcrawler, Killo vs Samurai X, and Temple of Resurrection. A second season would air by the end of the same year. Season 9 has a lot of reliance on Season 8, so I'm actually not going to say anything too much about it. Sorry. Sets for this season include Destiny's Wing, Throne Room Showdown, Stormbringer, Firstborn, Diesel Knot, The Dragon Pit, and Oni Titan. Season 10 isn't a season as much as it is 4 episodes meant to wrap up the Masters of Spinjitzu series. It's stupid, it's pointless, it had potential to do so much more, I hate it. Masters of Spinjitzu began with 4 episodes and it ended that way too. Moving on, the series now goes by simply Ninjago, and the show is now animated by a new studio, Wildbrain, who you may know for animating literally everything else. Season 11 is split into 2 chapters, the Fire chapter and the Ice chapter. Quite a lot of stuff happens in this season, so I can't tell you anything really specific. I personally haven't seen any of the Wildbrain seasons, so there's also that. Sets for this season released in 2019 and included Lloyd's Journey, Cole's Dirt Bike, Shuricopter, Firefang, Katana 4x4, Lloyd's Titan Mech, Land Bounty, and Castle of the Forsaken Emperor. Season 12 sees the ninja trapped in a video game, that's kinda it. These sets released in 2020, including Cole's Speeder Car, Kai's Mech Jet, Gamers Market, Jay and Lloyd's Velocity Racers, Ninja Tuner Car, Jay's Cyber Dragon, Empire Temple of Madness, and Empire Dragon. Season 13 is very much a Cole-centric season, and explores the ninja visiting another kingdom. I didn't really mention it, but I guess I could stick it in editing that, primarily the Fire and Ice chapters are about Kai and Zane respectively. And I also didn't mention it, but Skybound is kind of a J/Nia focus. Every ninja would kind of get their own focus seasons, or arc in a season. Sets for this season were Journey to the Skull Dungeons, Wu's Battle Dragon, Zane's Minnow Creature, like Minotaur? I don't know, I didn't actually look at the sets when I wrote this. Firestone Mech, Skull Sorcerer's Dragon, and Skull Sorcerer's Dungeons, all of which released in 2020. There's a miniseries after this that takes place on an island, producing the sets Lloyd's Jungle Chopper Bike, Jungle Dragon, The Keeper's Village, and Catamaran Sea Battle, all which released in 2021. Ninjago also enjoys its 10th anniversary this year, putting out a set of Golden Legacy minifigures as well as a special legacy set, Ninjago City Gardens, which is absolutely gorgeous but very expensive, retailing at $300. My boyfriend just recently told me that they're also discontinuing selling this set, so it's gonna be, if you want one from now on, it's probably gonna be a lot more than that, which hurts me. Hurts me so bad. After the miniseries comes Season 14, taking place underwater and concerning the disruption of a certain ninja's powers. This season's sets released in 2021. These are Lloyd's Hydromech, Ninja Sub Speeder, Water Dragon, Temple of the Endless Sea, and Hydro Bounty. The latest season as of 2022, Season 15 is generally a culmination of events in Ninjago as a whole, and involves many threats both new and old. This season is again supposed to be a natural end to things, and will presumably not have much, if any, bearance on the upcoming Ninjago 2023 series. Sets for Season 15 include Jay's Golden Dragon Motorbike, Cole's Dragon Cruiser, Zane's Golden Dragon Jet, the Crystal King Temple, the Crystal King, Kai's Golden Dragon Raider, Lloyd's Golden Ultra Dragon, and Nia's Samurai X Mech. My boyfriend actually has all of these. They're incredibly beautiful sets. I purposely didn't mention pricing on anything because I think I may have gone crazy giving the then versus now price for every single set, so I'm just gonna give the cheapest to priciest range for the very first sets versus the cheapest to priciest range for the most recent sets. Of course, all adjusted for today's inflation. The cheapest Ninjago set in the 2011 pilot episode wave cost $6.99 back then, which would be $9.09 now. And the most expensive set was $49.99, which would be $65.04 today. Season 15's cheapest set is $19.99, and the most expensive set is $149.99. Obviously a big change, you can kind of fill in the blanks in there. There's also a bunch of legacy sets and what is called core and evo sets that are both based on a series of Ninjago shorts as well as past sets from the series. I'd have to go through the shorts and stuff to really talk about all of them, so instead I'll just flash some of the notable ones on screen for you. Wasn't that fun? Before you go, there's actually a couple more things I want to touch on, surprisingly. Ninjago has also put out some pretty interesting non-LEGO products too. If you're anything like me, you're probably a night owl and a late sleeper. If you want to make sure you're up on time for something, why not have none other than your favorite Ninjago character wake you up? You can get your claws on minifigure-shaped clocks of pretty much every ninja, as well as one of the Serpentine. I will say he looks awesome. If clocks aren't your game, say you're more mobile, you can also get a Ninjago-themed watch. Thank you, Cole, for letting me always know what time it is. I am a kid at heart, so I love stickers. I never pass up an opportunity to get myself a sticker. There is a book you can get that has 1,000 Ninjago stickers. I won't talk about it too much, or else I'll get sad that it's not in my possession right now immediately. If only I could have written this script with a Cole pen. There's also plushies you can get. I almost bought one, but instead I purchased these bad boys. And girl. They're all my favorite minifigures for each ninja, and they're ordered from my favorite ninja to my least favorite ninja. Sorry, J-Likers. Last but not least, if you're not up to fill out your taxes with a J pen, or pour milk on a Lloyd plushie and suck it back out, there's something else for you. Maybe wearing your favorite character on your wrist isn't enough. You have to be them, in their skin. And that is absolutely something you can do with a Ninjago character costume, complete with claw hand gloves. Since Ninjago is a LEGO property, it has a presence at Legoland. Some of the characters appear as walk-arounds, you can buy Ninjago keychains, that kind of fun stuff. However, at certain Legolands in Asia, particularly in Malaysia, you can watch a Ninjago puppet show that is actually canon to the storyline. The puppets are literally half the size of a person, and they're so scrunkly. So that's actually it this time. If you're a Ninjago fan, let me know.